Magic B8 Naga. So this is an older buggy from Magic. It was released in 2012 and also discontinued the same year. And what makes this buggy special is that it is the electric version of the B8 RS, which is Magic's nitro competition buggy. So this is the same setup, except it's electric. And it comes RTR with a motor, which you see right here, 2650, and AC, which I changed out. I changed out all of the electronics. Anyway, so Magic still sells this car, and they sell it under B8ER and B8JR, which is the nitro version. And what makes the competition version special? There are a lot of basically hop-ups that you have to buy separately for the current RTR cars. And I'll list a few things which are just, most excessive or, just very nice to see, which are the 70-75 hubs, the carbon steering plate. This is right here, it's a carbon hinge pin brace. Sorry, aluminum instead of plastic, like on the other one, on the RTR one. These shocks are all big bore, and if you look at the caps, they are extremely thick. This will take a long time to wear down. The shock towers are also 70-75 and different from the RTR ones. Okay, this one also came RTR, but when I say RTR, I refer to the current buggies that Magic sells in 2021. So pretty much 90% of the parts are interchangeable. Next are the hinge pin braces right here. These are 70-75 as well, compared to plastic that comes on the current cars. And the two most surprising things, I would say, are the 70-75 braces. So this is the rear brace, and the front brace, which you can see peeking out right there, is also 70-75. I have never seen a car, whether a kit car that you have to assemble, or an RTR that comes with both braces in aluminum, out of the box, and definitely not stamped aluminum. The chassis is also 70-75 aluminum, which is different from the current buggy that has stamped aluminum. So this is very nice. Okay. So even in the box, you get some tools that, just scream quality. If you look at this turnbuckle wrench, I don't know if you can focus. Come on. Yeah. It is very thick. Look at the thickness of this thing. And there's some tools that I haven't opened yet. Even the turnbuckle, not turnbuckle, I guess the hex wrench is different from the many others. This is what you get on most other cars. And this is what you get on the Naga. It's just different quality. Better. Anyway, so I think this car definitely deserves some, a YouTube video, because there's literally like none of people talking about it. Because it's kind of rare. It was released the same year it was discontinued, because Magic decided to cut the price in half and basically go for the RTR market. And all of these, hubs, braces, carbon plates, they are now optional parts that you have to buy separately on the B8ER. Also, the diffs here, they're of interesting design. So how you take out the diffs is you take out the screws, I guess you can say horizontal or vertical screws, and here, that you basically open the diff like in half. So basically you don't pull it out like this, on most cars. you actually pull it up, and that's how you access the diffs. And it's actually really easy access. It's about 6 screws, 6 for front and 8 for the rear, and you have access to the diffs. And that's it. You pull it up, and you pull the diff out, and then you put it back. So this is the true easy access diff. So one other interesting thing on here, let me just hold it like this, maybe it's easier to see. All the wires are very nicely tucked in, so you don't see any wires sticking out anywhere. The wire management on all T-Magic cars is very optimal, very nice. Also, one cool thing is that the way the motor is positioned, you basically have a lot of space here, so you can really overpower this buggy, and it definitely can handle it. A lot of buggies, the motor is facing this way, and it's squashed in between a servo, a ESC and the back arm, so there's not much space. Here you can put basically a 4092, and since you have some space between the chassis and the motor, you can even put like a Mach 6 motor in here, which is like a 4985, so you can really overpower this thing. This is just something I 3D printed just to clamp the wire. They're a bit long, but this is so that I can use on many different cars. Alright, this body that it comes with is not the original, but it is from the B8 ER. And when you put it on, there's definitely this certain vibe that you can tell the car is a bit older. You can tell the car is like from the early 2000s, or something that is about 10 years old. It doesn't look like the modern, Mugens or X-Rays. It's just different. So it came with these tires, which look a little cheap, like the rims, but they're actually really nice quality. They are not your, generic Chinese wheels. So yeah, just wanted to make a quick video on the buggy because it's definitely special. I also got it for quite cheap. It sat in someone's storage for about 80 years. And it basically costed me like half of the price that I would pay for like an Arma Python or any kind of like those RTR buggies, except it's so much more upgraded. And it's heavy. I think one of the reasons T-Magic didn't do well at the competition scene is due to the weight. This is a heavy buggy because of all the aluminum parts. Look at these shocks. They're just so huge. They're 18mm bore. It's crazy. Look at the front. Look at the hubs. They're so big. So big and beefy. Oh, one cool thing about the hubs, about these aluminum ones, you can see there is a set screw there. There's a set screw on the top, and there is a set screw on the bottom, which right here. So what they do is basically they keep your kingpins in, so this will literally never ever come out. This is awesome. Seems simple, but not many people have done it. Not many brands, I guess. So another cool thing about this car is that, like I said, you can still buy parts for it, and in fact you can even stretch it. T-Magic has this dessert buggy that they call T-Magic Seth, and it's basically the same layout except the chassis is longer. The chassis is longer here, so it's basically a truggy chassis. So you can make this longer by about 3 centimeters, which is a lot, like this much. And you can do a speed run build or whatever you want, but basically it's an awesome car that I'm very lucky to have, especially at the price point that I paid, which is basically like 320 bucks. This is unbelievable. And this motor, it really rips. It's a 2650. I have no idea whether it's a rebrand of something else but it's crazy. Maybe because I, have never really run higher kV motors, even though it's just a 4268. This is shorter than this rocket motor, but it's nice. What else? The only weird thing, or the only thing that is not a fully hopped up item, is the servo horn. T-Magic does weird things where they come with plastic servo horns, but this is not any plastic. This is a very good plastic. It's definitely composite, like most TM stuff. They have you can tell it's composite, and it's really tough. But still, I would prefer an aluminum one. Another cool thing is that the wing mount, you can see it attaches through a lot of places. And in fact, this part here, I don't know if you can see the screw. It basically attaches to the shock tower and gearbox. So it's basically even acting as a rear brace, I guess. Like, not even center rear brace, but just rear brace. So yeah, with this you can put on shock towers from T-Magic Seth, the desert buggy, and even stretch it. And it's just so many customizations. Even the wheelbase is all adjustable. You can see there is shims here where you can move the shims from here to here, make the wheelbase longer, or move all the shims on this side, which I don't think you can see it right here. Move it to the right side and then make it shorter. So you can play with this in a lot of ways. Even the width, you can adjust the width here. You can make it longer just by doing this, and then just by making this turnbuckle longer and the upper arm a bit longer. And this is just a crazy, weird, never seen before customization. So T-Magic is definitely underrated. I love T-Magic brand, but their marketing is definitely lacking by a lot. Just look at this box. They definitely put effort in it, but nobody knows about this buggy. Something I cannot show, but basically the front and rear ring and diff pinion gears are CNC machined, and they're conical or spiral basically. The same as on the larger E6. And the central spur gear, the main spur gear, is also CNC machined. The thing, you can see it here, but it's basically crazy overkill. To build this, to build a B8 ER, the current buggy T-Magic sells, to this spec, you would need at least $300 to $400. Optional shocks, both front and rear. Optional ring and pinion gears, both front and rear. Machined CNC spur gear. Machined CNC hubs. Top plate, shock towers, Ackerman plate, hinge pins, hinge pin braces, and even the hinge pin themselves. These are not the E-clip ones. These are threaded, with a nut. So a lot of things. And I'm definitely, also even this chassis itself, like I said before. So this is just a summary. But I'm very happy to see this. I hope T-Magic releases this car again. I really do. Because I'm sure if the design stuck around for that long, there are reasons why. They just don't want to, I guess, raise the price of their buggy. But they really need to look into it. So I actually installed the optional shocks, big bore shocks, and both of them are big bore. The stock Naga is already an upgrade compared to the current RTR one, but the difference is that this one has 3.5 millimeter shaft, like most competition buggies, but this one just has overkill 4 millimeter shock, which is like, what comes in like 1/7 scale or even 1/6 scale shock shafts. So crazy overkill, but I love it. So yes, I wish Team Magic will do a better job in marketing and more people get to know their cars, because it's a shame that it's so unknown when it definitely runs circles around all the RTR buggies, anything under 500 basically. And this is, they should re-release this, because Team Magic, they do these things where they release ARR, or basically almost ready to run cars that have optional parts already pre-installed but no electronics, about roughly the same price. And they should definitely do another release of the same buggy, or even the desert buggy but without electronics, because I would love to extend this chassis, stretch it to do some speed runs. There's already a part available, but I don't want to buy a car where I'm going to be, stripping down all electronics or selling the transmitter and receiver. So anyway, B8 Naga. Just look at the box. I love it. Okay, goodbye. Hope it was interesting.